and welcome to episode 34 of a Slice of Pie podcast. My name is Kat Loftus, and thank you so much for tuning in. Well, it's Good Friday, and this is Easter weekend, and so happy we have made it this far through the winter weather, and now we're looking ahead to warmer days for beach season, river season, playing golf, all the great things we do outside, pickleball, just taking walks outside. It's all good. So here we are, just happy to enjoy this time of year and Easter Sunday. This week we welcome Wes Wehunt as our guest. Wes Wehunt is the head of school at Lowcountry Preparatory School, a private school in Pawleys Island, South Carolina that serves children grades kindergarten through 12th grade. They have very successful students there at that school that go on to some wonderful colleges. So they've had a really great success rate. The school began in Pawleys Island in 1995. And here's a little piece of trivia about the school. It was Lolly Ford and I who started the school. We got together as two moms wanting an alternative for our children to attend school other than the public school. Not that there's anything wrong with public school, my kids went there, but just an alternative. And we came up with this great idea. We got some other parents on a steering committee. And I got some information from Charles Amar, whose dad had started SCISA, the South Carolina Independent School Association. And he said, well, you know, Kat, a lot of private schools do start using the Sunday school classrooms at a church. So then Lolly and I approached the Pawleys Island Presbyterian Church, Reverend Frank Holtzclaw. They agreed to let us hold the initial classes there, and that's where it started, with its little humble beginnings. Today it's grown to a beautiful campus with several buildings, a beautiful soccer field, a gymnasium, and they're really doing great things. And you're going to enjoy hearing everything that's going on there and what all the students do, how they interact with each other, how they go out to serve the community. And it's a rigorous education, and we'll hear a few testimonials at the end from the students. So we hope you're really going to enjoy this episode of A Slice of Pie with Mr. Wes Wehunt. So sit back and enjoy. Let's get into it. Good morning, Wes. How you doing?
Good morning, Kat. It's great to be with you.
We're so glad to have you on our podcast this week. So Mr. Wes Wehunt is the head of school at Lowcountry Preparatory School in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. Did I get it right?
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Well, we're so glad you're here with us today, and we just want to let everybody know about Lowcountry Prep, what's going on over there, what grades you cover, what are some of the activities that you have going on over there, and every little thing we can find out. So first of all, you're fairly new to our area. Is that correct?
I am. Came down in July this past summer.
All right. So we want to find out where you were born, where you were raised, and where you went to school.
Okay, great. Well, I have a unique history. Fortunate to grow up in a military family.
Okay.
And so my father was a radiologist in the Army and was actually stationed at Tripler Army Hospital.
Where's that?
Tripler in Hawaii.
In Hawaii? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Honolulu, Hawaii. So that was my birthplace. It was on the island of Oahu. And so we would spend about 2 years at a certain spot, and then he would be transferred to a new military location. And so I spent most of my childhood bouncing across the United States with stops in Texas and North Carolina and Georgia. And we wound up in Maryland as kind of his final spot. He was at Walter Reed Medical Center. And so when he got out of the military, that's where we stayed. And so I spent probably the later half of my elementary school through my high school growing up in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is just north of Washington, D.C.
Okay, so I've got to ask you this question. Do you think the crab cakes in Maryland are better than the crab cakes here?
You know what? I might get in trouble for this, but I'm a Maryland crab cake guy. We measure crab cake by its filler. And so the crab cakes with the least amount of filler are the ones I lean towards. And so I have found my ones in Maryland to be bursting with crab meat.
Okay. So our oldest son, Patrick, is a graduate of United States Naval Academy in Annapolis. So we would go up there frequently. And I, very biased to our seafood down here. So I went into restaurants particularly to taste those crab cakes and say, are they really crab cakes? But they are good. They are real good. Okay. So, and tell us about your family.
Sure. So I have 3 children. My oldest is a freshman at Gardner-Webb University, which is just west of Charlotte. He wanted a small school with a little bit of a religious focus where he could do chapel and Bible study, and found the perfect fit there.
Yeah, what's his name?
His name's Dalton.
Okay, Dalton.
I have a daughter, Hayden, and she is a senior in high school right now. Now, I came from Charlotte, was my previous stop. I was at Davidson Day School there. She'd been at that school her entire academic career, so she wanted to finish out her
I totally
time
get
there.
That. Totally get
and stayed. And so then I have a youngest son, Grayson, who's in 7th grade right now. who's also stayed in Charlotte at Davidson Day with their mother. And so he's a hockey player, and so wanted to stay and do some more competitive hockey in the Charlotte area for this
So
year.
yeah, I was going to say, are they home alone or do they have somebody?
Yeah, no, they're with their mom.
That's good.
In
That's
Charlotte.
good. And tell us about your wife.
It's actually ex-wife.
Okay. Okay.
That's okay. We separated recently, but
That's okay.
she's still there, and she's an education and teacher.
Okay,
and
that's
does,
okay.
does an amazing job
That's
of what she
okay.
does.
All right.
Mhm.
And so how did you get into education?
So interestingly enough, when I went to college, well, actually, let me backtrack a little bit because
Okay.
our stop in Maryland. Again, in my childhood, I grew up attending a variety of different schools across the country. Met a lot of different people. Was
Okay.
exposed to a lot of different educational settings.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school in that Maryland, D.C. area, I attended a private school for the first time. I went to St. Andrew's Episcopal School, which is in Bethesda.
Yeah.
Fabulous school. And that really had an impact on my life. For the first time in my life, I went from being a passive student who would just sit in the classroom and listen to things come at me to being an active and engaged student. I think the small class size helped. The connection I had with the teachers there, they were very personal, and they encouraged me to really engage in the process of learning for the first time. And I thought, if I had been this way my entire life, from kindergarten, and actually been engaged in learning and not just been a recipient of it, my life could have been so different. And so that really ignited a passion for education in me. But my father was a doctor, so I went to college thinking, I'm going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do. And so started pre-med at the University of Richmond. Got about 2.5 years into that program and was home one summer. And my mom had always been a Sunday school teacher at our church for middle school. And she was sick one Sunday and said, hey, could you step in and do this for me? And I did it and fell in love with the process of education just from that Sunday school experience.
How about that?
That really turned things for me. I said, I don't really love medicine, but I really love teaching. So I changed my major, shifted schools, went to the University of Maryland. Wound up graduating from Maryland with a degree in language writing and rhetoric and British American Lit.
Okay, so say that one more time. You graduated from University of Maryland with a degree in
language writing and rhetoric.
Language?
So English.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I studied British and American literature as well. So I had kind of a double major in both those areas and took that into the Episcopal School, St. John's Episcopal School, which is in Montgomery County as well. And they took a chance on a young kid out of college and gave me my first teaching job. And so I learned the craft of teaching in the classroom.
Okay.
And then after 3 or 4 years in the classroom, went back and got a master's degree in curriculum development and design.
From Maryland?
From Marymount University.
Marymount, okay. So what were you teaching at that first school?
So I was a 4th grade teacher.
You're kidding me.
I was an elementary school teacher, and
That's unique to find a man that teaches in elementary. God bless you for doing that.
It was a wonderful age. They're still curious, not quite anti-teacher. And,
that's right.
Oh gosh, they're just so much fun to work with. But I taught English and geography for about 7 years.
In middle or high school?
In elementary school.
In elementary school?
Yep. And so taught those 2 subjects in the 4th grade pod that I worked with.
Okay.
And so while at St. John's, I was given the opportunity to kind of advance up the administrative ladder and did some work in admissions and some dean of students work, and then wound up being a director of the elementary school by the time I left. So stayed there for about 12 years before moving on.
Okay. So from there, where did you go?
So went from there to Augusta, Georgia. There was a school in Augusta that was looking for an elementary school principal. That time, my family was young, and the cost of living in the D.C. area was through the roof, and we wanted to slow down the pace of life a little bit. And so went to Augusta, where I was the head of the elementary school there. Had a great 4-year run in Augusta, but realized the pace of life in Augusta was a little bit too slow, and so we wanted to kind of move back north a little bit, and that's where we found Davidson, North Carolina, and that has been our home for the past 13 years.
Such a neat place.
Beautiful.
We have a son that lives up in Charlotte, and his fiance kind of lives closer to that Davidson area, around the lake up there.
Yeah.
And really beautiful. It's actually
Lake Norman. The Lake Norman area is spectacular.
It really is gorgeous.
Wonderful access to a big city, a great school, probably about 500 students, give or take, kindergarten through 12th grade. And so while I was at Davidson Day, I served as an elementary principal. I was the middle school principal. Was the interim head of school for a year. I had a very unfortunate accident. Our head of school passed away in 2019, about 2 weeks before school was set to start, and had been battling cancer and unfortunately lost to come to that battle. But the board kind of tapped me on my shoulder and said, would you mind taking this role for the year? And so, of course, said yes, and spent the first half of that 2019 shepherding the community through a time of grief. And then COVID hit.
And then COVID
came that year. So the second half of that year was spent trying to navigate a online learning experience.
Gosh.
And so kind of jumped into the fire right away.
Wow. God bless all the administrators that had to navigate their schools.
That was a tough time. We're still trying to recover from it. We absolutely are.
That was a tough time. But we're glad we're on this side of things.
We absolutely are, and recovering quickly. And like I said, that experience just let me know that this is work I wanted to do. And you can't predict what's going to happen day to day. And
so how did you find out about the job at Lowcountry?
So, like most things in the education field, it's just word of mouth. People say,
Mhm.
"Hey, this position's available. Have you looked at it?" And I didn't have any intent in moving. I'd never been to Pawleys before. I'd never really been spent a lot of
You
time
so
on the
you've
South Carolina coast.
never vacationed here.
Never vacationed here.
Okay.
Most of my vacation was on the North Carolina coast, and
Okay.
so I said, "Well, you know what? Let's just take a look." I'm a fairly faith-filled guy, and I try to listen to that soft voice inside of me
Sure.
when it comes.
Mhm.
And there was a voice that says, "Let's take a drive."
Uh-huh.
And so came down to the coast, and right, the initial draw was the weather, right, and the location. It's
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah.
But it's the people that captured my heart, to be
Uh-huh.
honest with you.
Uh-huh.
And the more frequently I came down, the harder it was to go back. And so I went through the process of interviewing and visiting, and just fell in love with the people and the place. But it's more the people is what I found. And so there's a great collection of teachers, an incredibly engaged board of trustees. They're phenomenal. They've been so supportive of the school. It's hard to believe we're 28 years into this now. The school's
Wow.
been around for 28 years. We're getting ready to celebrate our 30th anniversary. And, the founding of the school, the original parents who got together with the idea of a school wanted to find the ideal learning environment. And so we've tried to stay true to that mission over the past 30 years. And that idea of trying to cultivate and shape the ideal environment matches my educational philosophy too. So it seemed like a good fit. And so my skill set and their needs lined up, and here I
Well,
am.
we're glad you came here, and we're so glad you're leading Lowcountry Prep now.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it really is great to have an alternative to public schools. I think when you have a little bit of competition, it makes everybody better.
Sure.
And every I'm a former teacher, and so every student learns differently and needs different kinds of environments. So I think it's always great to have alternatives. We also have a Montessori school here in our area, which is great, and or people can homeschool. So we just have all the kind of different models, which is super. So we're so glad you're here to lead Lowcountry Prep. And I want to start asking a few questions about the school.
Sure.
Okay. First of all, would you tell our listeners what grades does Lowcountry Prep cover?
Absolutely. So Lowcountry Prep really covers the whole spectrum from kindergarten through 12th grade. We have all those grade levels on the same campus. We have two different educational buildings. So we have an elementary school, we call it our lower school, which is kindergarten through grade 5. Then we have a middle school and upper school wing, which is grades 6 through 12. So average class size for us is about 14 or 15.
Oh, as high as that.
It is.
It really has gone up.
Our graduating class last year was 13. Our graduating class this year is 13.
Yeah.
But we have some classes that go as high as 18 or 19, but that's about our limit. And so we have one class per grade level. And so you have a collection of kids that you travel with and a collection of parents you travel with. But you get to know the kids really well. And parents ask me about the size of the school. I say it's the kind of place where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of reminded of the show Cheers way back when. So the kind of place where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, which can be a good thing. Or now, are there more administrators at the school besides you?
We do. We currently have a division head for the lower school, and then a middle school head, and then an upper school head for the high school students.
So there's 3 other admins besides you?
There are.
Okay. So who are those people?
So Jeannie Floyd is the head of the lower school. Tara Lavalley is the head of the upper school, and Lindsay Bloomdahl is the head of the middle school.
Okay, how about that?
Yeah.
And what, so for the students, what kind of extracurricular, no, I don't want to do extracurricular. I want to do like special areas. Like what other classes besides purely academic classes do you offer?
Okay. So, to give you just a better understanding of the academic program, we are an AP school, so an advanced placement school. So starting in high school, our kids have the opportunity to take advanced placement courses. Now, we don't have a filter for that process. Everyone who's a student has access to those classes. And so all the kids will take the class and then take the AP assessment at the end of the class. And if they pass the assessment, they get college credit. So about 85% of our kids wind up passing the test at the end of the year and get credit. I had a meeting with one of our graduates from last year who's at North Carolina State this year. And he informed me that when he graduated Lowcountry Prep last year, he had 18 college credits already completed.
Wonderful.
So he's going to be a nuclear engineer. He's not going to shortchange his college experience, but he can jump right into his major material at a quicker pace.
Yeah.
They would have completed all the introductory stuff that was required to state. So
something else, if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck with your education buck, is if a student goes into their freshman year at college and they have almost all their first year requirements completed, you can take 3 years to finish your undergraduate degree and then use that 4th year for your graduate degree.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So they have options. That's what we love about our kids who graduate from Lowcountry Prep is they do have options. But equally as important, it's one thing for a student to get into a college. It's another thing for a student to get into college and stay there and be successful. The dropout rate for freshmen is actually surprisingly high. And again, we want our kids to have the experience of a college course, have the familiarity with that rigor. So when they see it again in college, there's, okay, I can do this. I've done this before. And they're prepared and ready for that challenge.
What are some of the colleges that the graduates of Lowcountry Prep attend?
Oh gosh, yeah. So last year we had an engineering heavy group. So a bunch of them went to NC State. We sent one to University of Oklahoma, one to Colorado State. We have a bunch of in-state options as well. Honors colleges, University of South Carolina, a couple at Clemson, one to Furman. And so we're fortunate we have a college counselor on staff, and so she works with our students and families throughout their high school career to help them understand what their child, what the student wants to study. And so once they determine that and the size of school they want, and if it's location, if it's country, city, or rural, and helps them narrow that process down. And so by the time they do make the applications to colleges, they have a pretty good cluster of colleges to apply to. And the vast majority get into their first choice, which we're really proud of.
Yeah, I follow a lot of the kids around here just through social media. I know some kids have gone from Lowcountry Prep to Notre Dame. Some have gone from Lowcountry Prep to schools in the Northeast. And I think one of your graduates this year is going to go to Ole Miss.
Yes. We got one at Colgate. I forgot that's a Northeastern school. One of graduates last year.
Yeah. So they do go to a wide variety of different schools, which is great. Okay, now let's go back to when children aren't taking like science, math, language arts, social studies. What are some of the other classes that are offered at Lowcountry Prep?
Sure. A foreign language is a big one for us. So we offer Spanish in the elementary ages up through middle school. Once the kids get to 8th grade, they have the option to choose French or Spanish, so they can study one of those two for the remainder of their time at Lowcountry Prep. We offer a music class, which is a general music class for the younger kids, and more instrument band driven for the older kids. I have a wonderful music teacher named Tony Starlight, who's just amazing. One of the things I love to do is he will take our kids off campus to perform. And just this past Friday, he took a group of his singers to a local retirement home, and I got a chance to go and watch. And it's a Friday afternoon from 4 to 5 o'clock. They set up the little main eating area, and a lot of the residents from the nursing facility came down and were able to kind of sit and enjoy some music.
I bet they love that.
Oh my gosh, they were at one point. Our kids sang Crocodile Rock, and people were singing and dancing. Some of them got up and shaking. It was just wonderful to see the smiles that our kids were able to help share.
So great to visit the assisted living centers because they really want visitors. So what a great idea.
It was, but to have the kids engaged in the community, right? So you may learn some music in a classroom, but then to take it and use it to share joy really is a special thing. So they've got music class, foreign language class, PE. They've got art. I have a fabulous art program at Lowcountry Prep, and if you're into ceramics and pottery, our lower school art teacher just excels, and that's her specialty. And so our kids will create their own clay designs, and then we have a kiln on campus. They'll fire it and be able to paint it and take it home. So the arts are important.
Cool. What do y'all do with technology at Lowcountry Prep?
We don't necessarily have a technology class. We have a coding class for our high school kids.
Right.
But iPads are in the classroom. Computers are used in the middle and upper grades as well. But we don't necessarily have a specific technology program. We are STEAM certified by the South Carolina Independent School.
STEAM, not STEM, but
Correct.
STEAM.
Correct.
What's that extra A in there? Art.
Science, technology, art, engineering, math.
Okay, cool.
And so that's a certification that we earned through the South Carolina Independent School Association at SCISA. And so they came down this past year and granted us their highest reward, highest recognition. And so we got a 5-year certification, which basically means we do hands-on activities in every class. And so if it's English class or history class, we try to engage our kids in the kinesthetic learning process. And to give you an example, so the kids may be studying the Odyssey in English class, and in science class they would take the concept of a boat and build a model replica of the boat, and then in another class they may write a story of them being on a boat at some point. And so we try to integrate it cross-curricularly, give them the opportunity to be hands-on and as kinesthetic as possible.
I love that. that. Okay, I know at Lowcountry I've heard that there is a great relationship between the lower school kids and the upper school kids. Talk to us a little bit more about that. How do those two groups interact with each other?
Sure. Such a unique situation to have everybody on the same campus at the same time. And so what we've done this year is to design a program called Fen Friends, because we're the Lowcountry Marlins.
Marlins, that's right.
Our Fen Friends program is essentially a big buddy, little buddy dynamic. And so each of our upper school kids is partnered with an elementary school student, and then we have monthly activities, things that we do designed typically around holidays, Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day. And the kids will get together and do a structured craft, 15 or 20 minutes, just to kind of help create connection. Now, one of the things we do, we also have a monthly chapel service. And so at our chapel service, the Fen Friends sit together. So the big buddies and little buddies will sit side by side.
So
and had that chapel experience together.
So let's just say, is one student assigned to another student for the year?
For the year, and
Yeah.
sometimes we have groups of 3. It just
Mhm.
depends on the numbers and the age range. And so sometimes you have groups of 2 or 3, but they're together all year. And so that repeated interaction leads to depth of relationship, it just leads to connection. And it was so funny. I heard a story the other day about a couple parents who had hired a babysitter for their young child. The babysitter shows up at the front door, and the little kid comes to the front door and says, "That's my friend." And it was their big buddy, and the little buddy had no idea. And so those points of connection, those points of contact are just neat to see. So,
friends. I
yes,
like
ma'am.
that a lot. That's very cool. Who is your, other than the admin at your school, do you have, I'm assuming you have a board of directors?
Oh, yes, we do. Absolutely. Yeah, that's our governing body. So we've got a group of 10. Some are current parents, some are local community members. And so we've got a wonderful group that guides and leads the school. I'll meet with them monthly. Their primary responsibility is fiduciary, but we do a lot of long-term planning as well. And so we're in the process of preparing a new 5-year strategic plan. We'll work on that this summer to kind of chart the next stage of growth.
There you go. That's good. I'm glad you have some goals in mind. That's good. Speaking of fiduciary and financials, can we just talk about tuition for just a second? So what is the tuition at Lowcountry Prep?
Sure. It's a little bit different depending on the age range. It's around $11,000 for the elementary and a little bit more than $12,000 for the high school and right around $12,000 for the middle school. So you've got a little bit of range there just depending on where your student falls.
That's so much less expensive than the private schools in Charlotte.
Yeah, where we come from is half the cost of a Charlotte education.
Yeah, I had nieces and nephews that went to Charlotte Latin and then Charlotte Country Day, and I think they were at $20,000.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cost. My hope was it's a wise investment. Parents will see it as an important investment in the process of their children's growth.
Do you have any, if say a parent said, I don't know if I could write that check all at one time, do you have any kind of payment programs for parents?
We do. There are multiple options. It can be 1 pay, 2 pay, or 10 pay. You can pay by month. And there's been a really wonderful, Governor McMaster signed into law last year, a school grant fund, which this year kind of went off. It's happening for the very first time. And so they are allowing 5,000 families in the state of South Carolina to apply for an education grant. And so each family that receives that recognition will then get $6,000 that they can use to contribute to
tuition.
A tuition payment, correct. And so this is the kind of pilot year for that program. And I believe I read the other day they had 8,000 applicants for those 5,000 opportunities. But that program is going to expand in the coming years. And so we'll go from 5,000 this year to 10,000 next year to 15,000 individuals the year after that. And so I would encourage families, if they have an interest in an independent school education, this is a resource to look at. The application process for that grant funding starts in January. So
is it on a state website?
It is. It is. You just look for the South Carolina Education Grant.
South Carolina Education Grant.
Trust Fund Education Grant, and then the information will pop up. And so the funds for this coming school year, 24-25, have already been allocated, but for the following year, so for 25-26, that application process begins in January. Okay. So January to March is the window with which families can apply.
All right, I'll put that link at the caption of the podcast.
It's an amazing resource. So we have a couple of families coming to Lowcountry next year who have received that grant. And so that's going to help them, again, kind of fund the tuition.
Okay. Let's talk about parents, visitors coming to your campus. So I'm assuming there are parents that like to come take a tour.
We are open every day.
Okay. So
every day.
Who takes the parents on the tour?
Myself. I will do that. And so we typically coordinate. There's a spot if you go to our school website, lowcountryprep.org, you can register for a tour there and sign up, and then we'll coordinate a day to visit. Or you can make a phone call and call us. So I'm happy to, and tours typically take 45 minutes to an hour to get around and see all campus and kind of talk through the aspects of an independent school education and strengths and benefits of the program. Okay, so lowcountryprep.org to sign up for a tour. Okay, that's really interesting. School schedule, when's your typical first day of school, and then when do y'all release for the summertime? We start mid-August and have a fairly traditional schedule, take the major holidays off, and we finish up before Memorial Day. Do you align with the local public schools? We do not. We have not made a shift to that year-round calendar. We've stayed more traditional in our construct and have a longer summer break. You know, I really think it's a little bit of a misnomer how they call it year-round. So really, public schools in Georgetown County, I think they started August 1. Okay. And then they're going to finish right near the end of May. So everybody will get like a 2-month break. Good. Yeah, so it's not like close to that. We're not too far off. No, yeah. So, and I do know they've done like a week off in the fall, week off in the spring, and then of course spring break. But
So it's not like you're always going, but it is just different start and end times.
Sure.
Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? What else did I have on my list?
I can say this. So when a parent comes to campus, so there are three things I hope that they see, right, and hope they experience, and kind of talk about the values of Lowcountry Prep. And the first is meaningful connections. We talk a lot about the relationship between child, teacher, and student. I mentioned class size being in that 14, 15 range.
Really ideal.
That's important for us, right? Because the more we know our children, the more appropriately we can place that carrot and hold that level of challenge. We want the kids to work to a healthy sweat. That's the ideal, but not to the point of frustration. And having small class sizes allows us to really know our students very well. Now, that sense of meaningful connection extends beyond the student, but to the teacher and the parent as well. So the more in concert we are with the family, the more in sync we work together, the more impactful our program is going to be. And so there's a connection from teacher to student, a connection from teacher to parent, and there's a connection to the broader community. So we've got an exciting leadership program planned for next year that's going to get our kids connected and involved in the greater community. So I'll come back to that one, tell you that one in a second. So meaningful connections is one. Enriching experiences is number two. I talked about the STEAM certification we have, and I tell the teachers, if you can get the kids to touch it, taste it, make it, build it, move it, let them do it. Right? Don't read a book about it. Don't watch a movie about it. Let them get them engaged in the process. So field trips are important. Hands-on learning very important for us as well. And then the third value that we have is a secure and supportive environment.
Secure and supportive environment.
Yep, yes, ma'am. So we want the kids to feel physically safe. And so we have gates on our entrances. And so you have to be.
I didn't know that.
We do. And so you have to be buzzed in. So car access is limited during the day. Parents.
So for drop off in the morning, are the gates open?
They're open. So during those big transition times, they're open. And each of our parents has a card reader, and so they can get into a card reader.
Okay, that's smart.
So we just know who's coming in, who's coming out.
I like that.
Have a full-time security guard who's armed on campus all day long.
I like that.
Major Fred is from former Charlotte police officer. Speaking of Charlotte recently, but he's retired and come to the coast and has been with us for the past couple of years.
I know that gives the parents peace of mind.
Oh, and the kids adore him. He just has a following. And he is responsible for our color guard. So every day he has a group of fifth grade students who help him raise and lower the flag every day. We do the Pledge of Allegiance every day. We recite the Lord's Prayer every day. So there's just some routines that he's been able to involve himself in, and it's been a wonderful addition to our community. So, but not only physical safety, we want emotional safety as well. And so we talk to kids a lot about living by the honor code. And so we have a school honor code. We have lockers. Well, we're not lockers. We have cubbies, but nothing has a lock. And so the kids can leave their phones, their purses, their bags in their open cubby, and they'll stay there all day. And
that's interesting.
Nothing will happen. And so we've talked to our students.
You've never had an incident involving any of that?
Never. And we've talked to our kids about that specifically because the first time something does go missing, the whole culture of the institution will change. And so the kids protect that. They value that. And, if something goes lost, if somebody finds a necklace or an earring, it comes to the front office and say, here, we found this $20 bill. We don't know where it goes.
Right.
And so
I like that.
So living by the honor code is an important part of that safety construct as well.
Okay, so I love to talk about controversial things.
Of course.
So say a child has not been behaving well at the local public school, one of our local public schools, and they come and their parent brings them to apply to get into Lowcountry Prep. What are some questions or what are some things you might go through with those parents, with that teenager to see if they'd be a good fit at Lowcountry Prep?
Sure. And so I typically start with the why question. Why are you looking? Like, what's the draw to a different school environment? Tell me about what's been happening in the public setting. Now, again, there are places for all schools in a community, and some kids just need a quieter, slower paced, fewer distraction environment. And we're great for kids who tend to do better with fewer distractions. Right. For sure. Now, obviously, if there are behavior challenges, we'll understand the source of those challenges. What's that behavior stemming from? There's usually an underlying factor that comes with that. And we'll try to sort that out and figure that out. But we value our learning environment a great deal. We think it's important to be mindful of how efficient it is. And we don't want kids to disrupt that environment. And so if they do come in and they are disruptive, we'll work with the parents, work with the children, try to, again, redirect that behavior as much as possible. Ideally get to a point where they can kind of settle in and be a contributor to the environment and not a distraction from it. But unfortunately, if the distraction continues, we might have to make a change.
I was going to ask you that question. If they just continue to be disruptive, might they be invited to go somewhere else?
It's after a long process and a pattern of behavior. But again, we're educators with big hearts that are committed to the process of educating children, and that best happens when we make mistakes. That's the greatest opportunity for growth.
Mm-hmm.
So we look at those as chances for growth.
Yeah, I know as a teacher, it was very time consuming when you had that one little child who wanted to speak up and act out all day long, and you have to give your attention to them and ignore the rest of the class. So it can just wear your teacher out sometimes. But you said that you have a phenomenal staff and you have little turnover. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Very few teachers, once they come, they tend to stay. So very few teachers do turn over.
Let's talk about extracurricular activities. Earlier, you were telling me about something that happened with the chess team yesterday.
Sure. So we do offer sports teams. So we've got a wide offering of kind of soccer and basketball. Volleyball is very popular as well. Tennis, golf. So we've got a chance for the kids to be involved. And the beauty of a small school is, if you want to try it, you can. We don't really cut kids from the team.
Right.
If you want to go out and experience teamwork and sportsmanship and try basketball, well, you're welcome to come out and do it. And so, again, one of the points of access at a small school is the chance to do just that. But beyond the sports, we have other programs as well. We have a chess club. It's, again, part of the South Carolina Independent School Association. We'll compete against other independent schools across the state, and had a big competition just yesterday. And it was for our elementary school, middle school kids in that age range. And they performed very well. I believe our team finished second, and then we had one student who finished in the top three of, I want to say, 200 students competing in that event. So it was really, the kids did great. We had an event in the fall that we went to as well, and we finished in first. And we had the top two finishers in the chess tournament, so they had a little more competition this time.
Do you play chess?
I do. I'm actually one of the coaches of the team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so one of my sons is great at chess, and I can maybe get a few moves on him, but I hurt and beat him. So
these guys, they beat me. Yeah. The fifth graders that can put me to shame.
It's a lot of strategy and a lot of thinking ahead. And if I move here, what's going to happen next? What might they do? So it's a lot of thinking ahead.
What a life skill, though.
Yeah.
To be able to capture that at an early age and to be able to kind of look ahead a few steps and see where you want to wind up. But Chess Club, we have a Model UN group. Just went to New York. That was a high school group, probably, last week, 2 weeks ago, relatively recently. Spent a week in New York with hundreds of kids from across the country in a hotel working through a Model UN activity. So got a variety of different things. Got a fishing club for kids who like fishing.
I love that.
Been on the water with them.
So appropriate for our area, fishing class.
But it's had some middle school kids who wanted to start a club, and we didn't have one. They said, "Hey, can we go fishing?" I said, "Sure, let's go." So we have a little club that meets every occasional weekend. And
I love the idea that it came from within. We have a group of boys that came from our area, and they went up to Clemson and started a surf club up there, and it became an official club. So love when kids can get together and start their own kind of club, but inclusive, So I just do want to go through your sports real quick. So in the fall, I know you have cross country.
We do.
And you have volleyball.
We do.
And is that it? And is golf in the fall?
Golf's in the spring. We're doing golf now. We have some tennis in the fall.
Tennis in the fall. Okay.
Yeah,
and then the winter sport would be basketball?
Primarily basketball.
You don't have wrestling, do you?
We do not.
Okay. And then in the spring, you would have
soccer. And tennis. And golf.
But you're not doing lacrosse yet?
Not doing lacrosse yet.
Okay. That's good. That's a good offering.
It is. And you throw in a fishing club and a Model UM group and all these other things.
Did y'all ever have any members of a swim team?
We did at one point, and depending on interest, we'd do it again.
Yeah. We have limited resources in our area for swimming pools, but we do have some.
You know what's next? I actually talk about pickleball. So pickleball has just soared in popularity, and so I think that'll be our next offering. Coming up next year, we'll offer a pickleball club, so that could be next on the list.
Yeah, do you play pickleball?
I do. I enjoy it. I'm surprised at how much I enjoy it, but I do. I really love it.
Yeah, so I have a paddle in my car that drives around with me all day long, and might see the light of day once every 3 months. But I like the idea of playing pickleball.
Pickleball is great, right?
It's fun. It really is fun. You laugh a lot.
Great opportunities, great court resources here. There's plenty of places to play.
Yeah. So do you play for the Litchfield pickleball court?
I do.
It's really fun. And I So I hope y'all get a pickleball
me
program.
Too.
Pickleball program.
Kids love it.
Okay, so let's talk about your school certification. So y'all are certified through
Cognia, which is a third-party accrediting organization. So every 5 years, this group will come in, turn us upside down, inside out, backwards, and make sure we say who we are, review our curriculum, our teachers, every part of our program. They take finances, take every part of our program. And that accreditation process happens every 5 years. We're going through that again next year. We'll start that process again.
And what role does SCISA play with your school?
So
let's talk about what SCISA is. SCISA is
the South Carolina Independent School Association.
Okay.
And so that is our peer group, essentially. And so we're connected to the 160 or so independent schools across the state. Their home office is in Orangeburg, and so they're a great resource to me as a school leader. Provide a lot of access to financial and legal and governmental expectations, and so wonderful to be able to connect us to other schools in the area that have similar size or similar approach to learning or have some similar issues.
So you compete in sports against those schools?
We do, and we do so locally against other schools too. We'd like to have some local interaction. Our school's small. We're under 200 students, so some of the schools we compete against have vastly larger student populations, but the proximity makes it fun.
There you go. But SCISA is not who accredits you. It's the other one.
It's a combination of the two. Mm-hmm. They work in concert together. And so yes, so a SCISA certification and a Cognate certification are really handy.
Okay, let's talk about lunch at Lowcountry Pro. What do y'all do for lunch?
So we don't have a kitchen on site. About half of our kids bring lunch from home, but we do order in lunch from restaurants every day. And so each day of the week, there's a specific restaurant that delivers routinely throughout the year, and the parents can pre-order a meal to have that delivered. And it's Chick-fil-A is by far the most popular day. But there's a pizza day and a Jimmy John's day and a Smoothie King day and a Teakwood's day, which is I think hamburgers. And so they have a couple of options during the week.
So one of my friends is Tara Joseph.
Oh, know her well.
Yeah, and so I've talked with Tara a lot, and she's kind of helped a lot with that lunch program.
More than help. She's made that thing run for the past couple of years. So no, she feeds an army every day of hungry kids, and she's an incredible volunteer. But,
she's a great person.
Oh my gosh! But again, the benefit of a small school was you have the chance to be involved. And if you want to be a part of your child's education and volunteer, I mean, those opportunities exist, and there's nothing more special than seeing your kid in a school setting. You know, it's just a unique opportunity. So Tara's had a chance to live that directly, and our parents do as well.
So students do have an opportunity for prayer at the school?
They do. And we have a moms group that prays every Tuesday morning. And so we call it Marlin Moms in Prayer, and they show up Tuesdays about 8 a.m. and they'll pray for about an hour for every student and every faculty member in our community. And there's power in that for sure. So we celebrate that.
Love that. Let's talk about your facilities for just a second. So you're located off of Highway 17 in Pawleys Island.
Correct.
And you have, let's talk about the buildings. So you have an upper school building, a lower school building.
We do. We have a big gymnasium.
And the front of the gymnasium is where they eat their lunch.
That's a little cafe area.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a large sporting field,
big soccer field behind, and a large playground facility now off to the side of the gym, a smaller playground facility down by the lower school. We still have our 3 mobile units, which have been really the start of the school 30 years ago is where that school started. And so they have served their purpose and will hopefully become historical artifacts here in the next year or two.
One way to put it.
That's right, as we begin to determine what placement's going to be for those through the new construction.
Okay. And so you have one entrance off of Blue Stem Drive and one entrance off of, what's the other? Pettigrew, right. And you said, but those are gated during the day.
Both gated during the day, and the Blue Stem access is really closed all day. The only way to get into campus is from the Pettigrew side, which is the side closest to the public shopping center.
Right.
And so if families do come to visit, we ask they come in through that Pettigrew entrance, and we'll be able to open that gate remotely from the office when they arrive.
There's another question I want to ask you that escaped my mind.
I started to talk a little bit about next year and exciting programs that are on the horizon for us. And so let me circle back to that real quick.
Right.
And so we talked about leadership and service. That's part of our mission is to be actively engaged in the community. And we wanted to design a program that really gave us a chance to do that. And so next year we're going to start a leadership program officially with our 4th through 8th graders, and they'll get weekly lessons on leadership. We're going to use a program called Habitudes, which is a study of the habits and attitudes of leaders. That's a program created by Dr. Tim Elmore, who was a college professor at University of Alabama for a number of years, has been on the speaking circuit for a number of years, and has been the author of about 30 books. And so he's got a great history of student leadership and parenting. And so he's designed this program, which takes visual imagery and uses that visual imagery to instill leadership concepts into kids. It's a fancy way of saying he uses wonderful pictures to inspire leadership. And so, for example, one that we'll talk to the kids about it, we'll ask them if they're a thermometer or if they're a thermostat. And so you think about what those two things do. A thermometer just reflects the temperature of a room. A thermostat doesn't reflect the temperature, it sets the temperature.
It regulates.
So in your leadership style, are you one who just kind of sits back and lets things happen, or are you someone who takes initiative and adjust the culture of the institution where you are. And so they've got these wonderful images. And so when a kid then will be walking through the house and will see a thermostat, that'll trigger a thought to say, oh, thermostat, leader, set the environment.
Yeah.
And so he has a great program. So we'll work with our fourth through eighth graders on that understanding leadership. He's written a book, Dr. Elmore has it, called The Eight Paradoxes of Leadership. And so we'll do a book study with our high school kids on the contradictions of being a leader, of having confidence and humility at the same time, right? Of being visible and invisible simultaneously. And so we'll process that book study with our oldest kids. And then with our youngest kids, kindergarten through third, he has another picture book about kids who've done amazing things in the community and even at a young age functioned as a leader. And that's a book called I Can't Wait. And so we'll do a book study with the younger kids too. So the whole campus, really K through 12, can be engaged in Dr. Elmore's work next year. So we're excited about that. We're going to couple that with the opportunity to get out in the community. And so our 4th through 12th graders, we're working right now to identify local nonprofits that we can partner with. So each grade level will have a group that they specifically work with. So for example, our 4th grade may be partner with a local food bank. So each month they would either collect food for that food bank or go down to the food bank and help them organize their storage closets. Maybe one day get out and serve food at some point. But that 4th grade, that would be their partner for the year. You know, 5th grade would have another group, maybe a retirement home or facility, or assisted living facility where they would work with that group. And, you know, a 7th grade group may be connected to All for Paws, which is local animal rescue. 6th grade may wind up going to the state park, Huntington Beach State Park, thank you, and do some work there. But as the kids get older, then kind of engage them with more direct interaction with individuals. So there's a veterans organization I'd love to connect our sophomore class to, and just get the kids out in the community on a regular basis. And again, frequency and time will allow them to develop a depth of relationship. And as they go through the course of their time at Lowcountry Prep, they're going to have experience working with animals or working with environments outside at gardens or parks, working with people. And so if we can instill a passion for philanthropy, that may turn into a life of philanthropy as they go on and leave. So
I like
that combination of teaching leadership and then giving them applications to connect out in the community, I think really is just part of the mission of why we exist. And so when you think about what your school here to do, and my hope is just that, right? It's inspire wisdom, community service, and opportunity to give back. So
yeah, you know, you hear a lot of older people kind of criticizing younger people that they're just staring at their phones all the time and they're not doing. But really, kids do want to lead and they do want to help. They do want to make a difference. And not all leaders are talkative people. Some leaders are quiet people. They lead by example. So I'm glad you're developing that. Have you ever read the book or familiar with the book Atomic Habits?
Yes.
Yeah, so everybody's
absolutely.
been reading Atomic Habits and just the little things you do every day to make those small changes to which will eventually become a larger change.
And it becomes your life eventually, right? And so that's the idea, the concept behind the program. Right? Give the kids the exposure now, let it become part of their person, and then they'll carry that with their character.
Scholarships. Do y'all ever offer any scholarships for students?
The scholarships, no, but we have financial aid.
Financial aid.
And so it's an important distinction to make. So if there are families that need financial resources, there's a process they go through. They fill out some paperwork. Again, that goes to a third party. We don't see the paperwork. The third party then comes back with a recommendation to us to say, here's what we think you should offer them. And so we try to keep the confidentiality and privacy of the family as best we can. And so, like I said, there's some paperwork they fill out, gets sent away, and come back. And we designate 1% of our budget every year to support financial aid because we want our program to be as accessible to as many families as possible. And like I said, that South Carolina education grant is going to be a huge opportunity for people as well.
Yes,
so
it will.
The state is
that'll cover about half your tuition.
It really will,
which is great.
Remarkable.
You know, it really is. You are in the process of now. This time of year is the time that y'all accept applications. Is it what do you registration period? This is your registration period?
This is our admission and enrollment season. This is kind of how we officially phrase that. And now is the time we're accepting applications and looking to fill classes for next year. Some of our classes are already full. We've had a great response from the community. And so we have several classes that don't have space currently, but we are still putting people on waiting lists because things happen during the summer and families come in and come out. But if people are interested, I would encourage you to go on the website, set up a
Is it the younger classes that have the waiting list?
They are.
The younger classes? Okay. But so you have room for the middle and upper class?
We do. We've had a big influx of young families coming up from Georgetown this year, which is wonderful. We're excited and happy to have them. But And a lot of families coming north in that direction, which is great.
Great. They could carpool together.
Absolutely.
Which would be great.
And we do not have bus service, so that's an important distinction to make, because we do have parents do drop off and pick up every day.
Right. Okay, so if somebody wants to register to attend Lowcountry Prep, how do they do that?
Okay, so the process starts with an inquiry. And so go online, make a phone call, and you'll ask for a tour. And that tour really starts the process. The family will come, they'll understand our program a little bit better. We'll understand what their educational goals are for their children a little bit better. And if the two sync up and the parents want to continue the process from that point on, they'll go back online and go through the admissions cycle, and then you fill out an admissions form. There's a little bit of a fee that comes with that, and that kind of starts the paperwork process moving forward. But we'll need to get teacher recommendations and referral forms and report cards, and all of those get evaluated through the process. But again, it kind of all starts with the tour. That's step number one.
So I want to ask you a question. Do you think we can go over to Lowcountry Prep and we could get some testimonials from some of your students
Absolutely,
or staff members?
I'm the least important person on that campus. I would love for you to see
true.
some of the kids and some of the teachers in action. I would be honored to host you.
Is there anything else you'd like to let the public know before we sign off today?
No, I just thank you for your time. It's so nice to get to meet you. I've been here since July, but haven't had a lot of time to get out and see the area yet. I'll spend a little bit of time at Brickman Gardens, kind of walking, a little bit of time at the state park on the beach. But most of my time has been consumed getting to know the school and getting to know the community. So it's nice to be able to get out and meet some of the neighbors. Our church is right around the corner from where school is, so I'm thrilled to get a chance to meet you and grateful for the opportunity to talk about the school. I would just say, if you think about Lowcountry, if you're looking for meaningful connections and enriching experiences and a secure, supportive environment, we're a tremendous option in the community. And I love the public school. I was a public school kid for the majority of my life and have nothing but great things to say about the public sector.
Right.
But it's just an option. And if you're curious about exploring an option, give us a call, come by and visit.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I am going to take you up on that invitation to come over to the campus and take a look around and talk with some of your kids. But hey, if you need a home,
that's right.
I'm going to be your girl. So come back over to our office.
And thank you for your years in the classroom too. I know you were a teacher, so thank you for all that you've done.
I really understand what you mean that you're over the school all the time, because when I was a teacher, I worked late. I brought papers home with me. I mean, it is a mission. You know, it's a calling to work in the school environment. You got to love kids. Yeah. That's why we do it, right?
That's the heart of a teacher. Yes, it is.
If you don't love it, you shouldn't be there. But most teachers and admins love the students, and that's why they're there to help them be successful, help them move along, and just see them blossom and grow into young adults, which is really cool.
It is. It lives with you forever. Thank you, ma'am.
Well, we're so glad you're in Pawleys, and we look forward to seeing you some more around town.
Thank you, Kat. Great to talk to you.
Bye. Hey, do you like going here to Lowcountry Prep?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I like that they have fun games to do, and
you like your teacher?
You get to read, and I love my teacher.
Okay. How about y'all? Y'all want to tell me what you like about your school?
I like my teacher.
Okay. What do y'all get? Y'all have Easter bunny ears, so what do y'all get ready to do?
Easter egg hunt.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck. I hope you get a lot of eggs. Hey, Elizabeth.
You're about to do it?
So you go to Lowcountry Prep. What grade are you in?
I'm a senior this year.
Okay, what do you like about Lowcountry Prep?
It's small, it's great, and we've got a lot of great teachers, and it's just a big family here.
Okay, would you recommend it for other students?
Absolutely. Okay. It's been great.
Thank you. Hey fellas, y'all go to Lowcountry Prep.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me your name and what you like about going here? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Makai Myers. I'm a senior this year, and I just love our little community that we have here. Everyone is super close. We just finished hiding like little Easter eggs for the lower school, and it was super fun. So,
yeah. Would you recommend it to other people who come to the school?
Absolutely, it's a great educational environment. You stick with your teachers throughout your time here, and yeah, it's really great.
Okay, good. Okay, tell me your name and what grade you're in.
Hey, I'm Alexander McKenzie. I'm a senior as well. I just love the kind of family dynamic, and like, even though it's like a high academic rigor and you get a good chance at college, you still have that sense of purpose, and you can like go and do varsity sports, and the people on your team are like brothers to you. It's all around amazing.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, this is Major Fred. Now, at Lowcountry Prep, why are you called Major Fred?
Actually, my company, I was promoted with Thunder Protective Services as a major with our company, and that's why the kids here, all the students call me Major Fred, the faculty also.
Okay, what is your job? What do you do here at Lowcountry Prep?
My job here is to protect the property, the students, and the faculty from any harm or mischief or so forth and
Oh, I
so
love
on.
the mischief. Mischief might be a little bit difficult now.
Well, I don't know. We got a good bunch of students here. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, I'm not here really to protect internal problems. It's more of outside influences.
I like that. And you do have gates on both entrances, right?
We do. We do have security gates on both ends, which supposed to open automatically coming in and out. Right.
Okay, great.
That is if you have a pass.
Okay. So you just patrol the campus every day and you interact with the students?
I do exterior patrols, I do interior patrols, making sure that all the exterior doors on the buildings are locked and also all the classroom doors are locked.
I like that.
And we do that several times a day.
Well, great. I know that the parents and the kids are glad to have you here. Thank you for talking with us.
Well, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
My name is Emma Rusnak. I'm a senior this year, and I love Lowcountry because I just love the small size of the school and how everything feels like a family because of our small class size.
Do you know what you're going to do next year?
I'm going to Clemson Honors College, and I'm planning on either doing architecture or something in the medicine medical field.
Good luck. Okay, all right.
My name's Sophie Moore, and I'm also a senior. And I love Lowcountry too because it's so small and we all get to just be close friends and enjoy our years here together.
Would you recommend this for other students?
Yes, definitely.
Do you think it's rigorous? The education's rigorous? Yeah. Do y'all have like little friend partners at the lower school?
We do. We have the kindergarten.
Well, good luck. What are you going to do next year?
I'm also going to Clemson, and I'm majoring in health sciences.
Well, good luck. I hope
Thank you.
y'all both do really well next year. And thanks for letting us talk to you real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're in the upper school now. All right. So what do we have in
I'll go to the left.
this?
That's the teacher workroom.
Teacher workroom. Hi. How y'all doing? Okay. All right.
Biology are seniors, their college options.
I like this. I'm gonna get this board real quick. Very, very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a classroom space.
Okay. Science lab. All right. Oh, these are the cubbies.
The cubbies earlier, right?
These are the cubbies you were telling me about.
Disorganization for display.
Listen,
But accessible to
I'm a mom. I totally get that. Yeah.
I'll show you classroom space.
Well, if we wanted to do Wild West, though.
Remember to put the light real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry, this is an English classroom.
Hi
Hey.
there. We're doing yearbook right now. We're brainstorming for themes for next year.
Have you already finished your yearbook for this year?
We have.
Way
I
to
got
go.
that recognition yesterday, by the way.
Oh, amazing.
Somebody sent me a note saying you're all done.
Okay,
Yeah, we
good.
finished it.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Congratulations.
thank
Good luck.
you.
Thank you.
It's lunchtime. So you
Okay.
kinda get a
It's
feel
okay.
for what
Okay.
classroom looks like.
Okay. Hey, y'all.
Hi.
Hi. What grade are y'all in?
Eighth
Eighth grade. Okay. Okay. Let me see what we got over here. I really like the size of the classroom. Okay.
I'm in 8th grade.
Lowcountry Prep is now accepting applications for their 2024-25 school year. I'll put that link in the caption so you can see that. Wes Wehunt encourages you to take a tour of the school first, so you can also see that on their website, which is lowcountryprep.org. So go there to schedule a tour. You can go there to find out a lot of information about the school. It's just such a great campus. It's a secure campus. They have gates on each driveway, so you have to be able to ask to get in to go through the gates because they want to keep their campus secure. But you will love spending time there, and so many parents from in our area send their kids there. So just ask around and you'll find somebody who goes to Lowcountry Preparatory School. We hope you and your family are going to have a great Easter weekend and a great week. Thank you so much for tuning in every week. If you would rate, subscribe, and review, pass it along to your friends and neighbors to share a slice of pie so they can know what's going on in our life here in Pawleys Island. And if you'd like to be on a slice of pie, or you know a good story that we should share, please let me know. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.